Boys would be safer at my house, healthier at my house.
So you think they're in danger with her? Do you think she would actually hurt them on purpose?
Not knowingly, not on purpose, but with a condition that allows her not to know that she's doing it.
And that condition is what?
We believe it's Munchausen.
That's a very serious disorder.
Yes.
Just so everybody knows, the Munchausen Syndrome refers to the most severe and chronic physical form of a group of disorders called factitious disorders. It does include, in part, making yourself sick or causing yourself to exaggerate symptoms or over-dramatize. For example, dramatic, inconsistent medical history.
That's very much what she does with the medicines.
Falsely fabricate medical records, unclear symptoms or relapses that become more severe with treatment or after negative tests. Like they'll test and say there's nothing wrong, but then the symptoms get even more severe. When we're talking about this imposed on others, then all of these sort of things are pushed on somebody else. They use this on the kids. Do you think that's happening with your boys?
Yes.
Is she over-medicating the boys?
I do believe she is.
And what is the custody arrangement now?
I have first, third, and fifth weekends of the month.
They're basically with her.
Right.
And you get every other weekend.
Right.
Okay. If she's such a terrible parent, why is that the case?
When we agreed upon this, I wasn't in a place to take them.
So you agreed to this?
Yes.
And she says you weren't much of a dad to begin with. Is that true?
I can't argue too much about their early life. I wasn't.
You say that you agreed to that then because you weren't in a position to be a responsible, ever-present father, but now you are. You've cleaned your act up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you think that she is introducing some negative mental emotional experiences for these boys.
Absolutely.
Has she claimed that she had cancer?
Yes.
Did she?
She's claimed it 3 times since I've known her.
Did she have cancer?
I'm not a doctor. I don't believe that she had. And
did she tell the boys she was not going to live?
She has.
She told them, I'm dying of cancer.
Yes.
Right. Stage 3, I believe.
Stage 3 cervical cancer.
Yes.
And did she also say it was metastasized, that it had gone into her lymph nodes in her abdomen and that it had spread throughout her body?
It had spread, yes.
Did she tell them that she had had 8 miscarriages?
And that they were buried in a cemetery down the road from her parents' house.
And you think she badmouthed you?
Oh, I know she badmouths me.
All right, when we come back, we meet Marcus's ex-wife and hear what she has to say about the fact that Amber and Marcus want full custody of her boys. We'll talk about that next.
Carrie claims that she stuck my son with an EpiPen in the middle of the night, and she had never done it before. Carrie watched him sleep at night, told me that he had stopped breathing, so she stabbed him with the EpiPen while he was sleeping. He didn't wake up. An EpiPen is a needle. If somebody stuck you with a needle while you're asleep, you're gonna feel it. I think Carrie made up this whole thing so that she could look like the good mother that saved her son. That way it looks like Carrie's taking better care of the boys.
Well, Marcus is concerned his ex-wife Carrie is over-medicating their 2 boys, but Carrie says she is a great mom, and the real problem here is Amber, who is constantly meddling in the middle. Take a look.
Amber has always been too involved with my business, with my ex-husband. Amber is two-faced. Amber is just trying to take my place. The first time I met Amber, I stuck my head in her door and I told her, you need to stay the hell away from my kids. Marcus and Amber are constantly telling me they're a better parent than I am. The one thing that I'm great at is being a mom. My kids have told me Amber wants them to call her mom. That makes me incredibly furious. I'm their only mom. Marcus does pay child support, but it is not consistent and it is very difficult to get any money from him.
You don't pay for child support. I know you gotta have
I pay exactly what I'm supposed to pay.
Marcus tends to always be volatile, angry at something or someone. I have called Amber and Marcus Names. I've called Amber fat cow before. I've talked about Marcus's turkey neck. I want to hurt them in the moment. My kids do have a lot of allergies and asthma. It is ongoing. The boys used to have nebulizer treatments twice a day, nose spray, 2 different pills and 2 different inhalers, and that was every day. I've always been on top of all their medications and dosage. I take them to just about all of their doctor's appointments. I take that responsibility very seriously. Amber has told me that my children are her children. I do believe that Amber would love to get my kids to herself, and that is definitely over my dead body. There is no way that I will ever let that happen.
All right, Carrie, thanks for being here. At this point, you think these two are toxic for your boys?
I do think in a way they are toxic.
Okay. And do you think Amber in particular is toxic for your boys?
She tends to be the kind of instigator, the ringleader.
Does she stir the drama?
Yes.
Do you think she talks bad about you to your children?
Yes, I know she does.
Okay, and they've told you that?
Yes.
I went through everything that you said and made a list of your complaints about Amber, so I want to go through those about Marcus and Amber both. According to Carrie, you say Marcus and Amber cause fights in front of the children. They alienate you from the children, which we just talked about, that Marcus doesn't pay attention to the children, and that Amber takes away their technology as punishment. Sometimes their electronics and toys, that sort of things. That they always have strangers living with them, that they trash talk you in front of the boys, refers to your sons as her children, and the children return with cuts and scrapes, and that they have to sleep on the floor.
When they came to my house for the weekend, and you've got 4 boys that love to play with each other and like to be around each other, they would pick to sleep on the floor all together, watch TV, and they'd fall asleep in the bedroom.
Go home.
Returning with cuts and scrapes.
Never.
They're boys, they play on their bikes and just having fun with friends that live in our neighborhood.
As far as the strangers, there are no strangers living in my home. One was my biological brother for about 4 to 6 months, and the other one was a friend from Europe that we brought here from a mission trip that we took in March. We do not talk trash about Carrie. We will talk to the boys with them about Carrie. It's like the instance they told me that Carrie said, I'm not their stepmom and technically not part of their family. We had a discussion about it, because that's not right. I am their stepmom.
I just have to say, just from what I've seen so far, I mean, we haven't seen enough to really make a definitive statement about this or have an opinion, but there's the accusation of Munchausen, and then she's listing all of these ailments for her children, and it does make you wonder, is she exaggerating or completely inventing these ailments, especially considering that she's accused of faking cancer? And I just have to add, I am so confused by the phenomenon of faking cancer. Now at this point, I've seen it in so many episodes, and it's always cancer. Nobody's ever faking HIV. Nobody's faking Parkinson's. Like, people are always faking cancer, and I don't understand it. I don't know what people get out of it, but I just had to say that.
You know, we heard you say that you wanted her to stay out of your boys' lives.
In the beginning, when I first found out about Amber, I was dating Marcus. He was coming.
Y'all divorced in 2009, and
I'm
y'all
aware of
separated in
that.
2007.
And we were dating.
That was 2011. Okay.
He was coming to my house every other weekend and staying with me. So, yeah, it disturbed me, because I was like, who is this woman? And so I did say that. I said, you need to stay away from my kids.
You guys had an exchange with regard to custody. Let's take a look at this.
I wish you would just leave and never come back, really.
I just wish you would leave and never come back.
Okay, it makes sense now. That was one of those little, me and Marcus having an argument and him videotaping. You know, you cut me down and cut me down. You know,
Like when I get told how bad of a dad I am, how bad of a father I am.
It's always 2 on 1.
Handle my situation.
It is always 2 on 1, always.
Coming up, Amber says that she does not believe that Carrie battled cancer in 2012, and that she faked it for attention. Carrie says, not true. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about the children's health when we come back.
In December of 2012, Carrie claimed to have stage 3 cervical cancer and claimed cancer was in her lymph nodes and her abdomen.
She did throw herself a party. She called it her cancer party. Hair today, gone tomorrow kind of thing.
Carrie went as far as to shave her head and her boys' heads. She was healed quickly. I do not believe Carrie had cancer. I think Carrie did it for attention. She likes the drama, all eyes on her. I think she needs that.
You have had cancer
Yes.
3 times.
I had 2009. There was it was a precancerous cells. It was stage 0 at that point. We had a hysterectomy done then. Then in 2012, I had a laparoscopic procedure where the rest of my ovaries and tubes and some lymph nodes and omentum was removed.
Well, originally you said it was 2007.
5507. 7 was the first. Yes.
Your next bout was in 2012.
Yes.
That's when you had chemo and radiation.
Yes.
And that's when you lost your hair.
Yes.
And you shaved your head.
Yes, we did.
We asked you about this when we talked to you earlier, and here's what you had to say.
So you've had some health issues?
Yes, I've had some health issues in the past.
What happened? What were your health issues?
I had precancerous cells, cervical. When we let me try that again.
So you had, was it cancer?
At that time, we think it was just the precancer at that point. But then about 4 years later, I ended up. How do I even go about that? I'm sorry. Several years later, it was told to me that the cells had developed into cancer. And so we had to do more procedures and treatment that time. And at that time, I did lose my hair, and it was a very scary, emotional time in my life.
But you didn't lose your hair, you shaved your head.
Well, I shaved my head so I wouldn't have the big clumps of hair falling out.
Well, you said you lost your hair, but you didn't, you shaved your head.
In the beginning, I shaved my head to where my hair was very short, yes.
And we asked you about this morning, and you put our producer on the phone with a nurse from the Christus Trinity Mother Frances Hospital in your hometown, right?
Yes.
Sharon Hodges,
Yes.
who's a nurse there. Was she involved in your treatment?
Yes, I knew her from having visits there.
So when you had your surgery and your chemo and your radiation, she treated you?
Well, she was one of the nurses there.
And so the producer talked to her, and she told the producer that you went through cancer treatments, several months of chemo in 2012, and confirmed ovarian cancer. We asked for Sharon's work email so we can also get an email confirmation, and she wouldn't do that. She said she was worried that she would get in trouble.
I called, and they had told me I needed to sign, records release and things, so I don't know if...
Well, we had one more question for her, so we called back to that hospital and asked for Sharon Hodges.
Okay.
And they said there's no Sharon Hodges that works there. Who is Jenny?
It's her best friend.
One of my friends.
Because when you called Sharon Hodges on your cell phone, the name Jenny came up in the screen.
No, well, yeah, because I know Sharon. That's what I was telling the producer.
But you have Sharon in your cell phone under Jenny?
No. I called Jenny's phone. I said, is this Sharon? She said, no, she said, this is Jenny, Carrie. I was like, oh, I need to talk to Sharon.
Why would Sharon be with Jenny?
Because we were all friends. Does that not make sense?
Not at all.
Okay.
The truth is, there's no Sharon Hodges that works at that hospital. She doesn't exist. The hospital has no reason to lie about that.
But neither do I. I did have to go through treatment. I did have to go through chemo and radiation.
So when you put our producer on the phone this morning speaking to Sharon Hodges, they were actually speaking to Jenny.
No, that still wasn't Jenny.
Who was it?
Her name is Sharon.
What was she doing at Jenny's house?
They are neighbors now. I know it seems so coincidental.
I'm just hoping you'll clear it up for me so I can understand.
Well, I'm kind of confused at the same time, so I don't really know how I can clear things up for you.
Coming up, Amber and Marcus claim Carrie has Munchausen by proxy because of the way she over-medicates her sons. I'm going to ask her about that after the break.
Y'all, she just got exposed. Oh my God. That was insane. Like, the way she was grasping at straws trying to hold this lie together makes no sense. And the dad, his face, this man is enraged right now. And for good reason. This is nuts. I mean, and she really thought she could fool the Dr. Phil show. Like, they don't have the resources to really check on this. She could have at least chosen the name of someone who actually works at this hospital. I mean, she's terrible at this. She's terrible at faking cancer.
I'm looking at this from a judgment standpoint, and when I look at your medication of your children, that seems really inconsistent as well. The instructions on the bottle here for your 12-year-old say that this medication, montelukast 1 tab nightly for your 12-year-old, and how do you pronounce this one?
Desloratadine.
Desloratadine, take 1/2 tab by mouth daily. The 10-year-old, prednisone, take 1.5 tablets as needed for emergency plan only for the 10-year-old. And then you've got over here, you're telling them to give it to the 12-year-old 2.5 every night.
The reason he was taking the prednisone is because if he had had an allergic reaction, he starts his emergency protocols. And that is what is listed on his emergency protocols that he follows for several days. They both have the same medications. I understand that one on this screen, one is saying it's a 12-year-old's, but one is saying it's a 10-year-old's. But they have the same medicines. And they're prescribed the same medicines.
See, this says 1.5 emergency only.
Right.
And you've upped the dose to 2.5 every night.
I didn't change the dose.
And it's the wrong child.
Right, it's a different child, it's a different dose. It didn't come from me, it was the doctor's, that was what the doctor's notes had told me to do. His emergency plan is in the paperwork that I provided.
All we have are your instructions. That's all you gave us. And then the bottles, which are different from what you say to do.
I would never intentionally hurt my children or over-medicate as...
Well, I think you would do what you thought was the right thing to do. I don't think you would hurt your children on purpose. Don't hear me saying that, because I'm not.
I understand that. But, you know, I'm
not...
I'm
just saying there's some fishy stuff going on here about medical perception.
I'm not going to mess with my children's medications. My kids are my entire world, and they're all I have.
I'm concerned about the conduct the three of you are having with regard to this tug of war and fighting in front of the children. And we have some examples of that. This is what the kids are subject to.
You try to make me out to be the bad guy all you want.
You are.
You showed up at my house with the cops.
2 weeks after they were supposed to be
Are you
home.
kidding?
No, I'm not.
2 days.
You look like you sit on the couch and eat ice cream all day. Is this packing on pounds thing, is that what you like to do now? You're
This
getting
sickly
fat.
anorexic thing, is that what you're going for? It's time for them to come on now.
They'll come out when I tell them to.
Then go get them.
I don't want to yet. I wish you would just leave and never come back, really.
Just how are Marcus and Carrie's boys being impacted by their parents' constant fighting? We're going to hear what they have to say next. Well, Carrie says Marcus and Amber will get custody of her boys, quote, over her dead body. But how do the children feel about all the fighting between three adults? Whose side are they on? Take a look.
I do think my parents fight more than other parents. It hurts, and I don't like them fighting. It affects me emotionally. I've heard them, but I never got what they were saying, so I never really understood it.
When Child Protective Services, for example, comes in and looks at the fitness of a parent, they look at 10 different factors. And number one, they look to see if you're able to provide a safe, stable, secure environment. That's mentally, emotionally, physically, all of that. Are you able to do that? Do you maintain a loving, stable, consistent, and nurturing relationship with the child? Are you attending to the daily needs of the child, such as feeding, clothing, and physical care? Do you attend to the adequate education for the child? Are you providing for the financial support of the child, the ability to identify and prioritize their needs ahead of your own? Do you empathize with and meet the child's needs? Do you have any ability to regulate your impulses and emotions instead of just letting them fly and just no impulse control? Can you assist them in developing and maintaining appropriate interpersonal relationships? Do you exercise appropriate judgment regarding their welfare? And I guarantee you, if I go through here and grade y'all's paper, you get about a D-. This has to stop.
I agree.
This has to stop. Your role in this is the hardest of all. What you can do is support him in fathering his children. She's the mother, he's the father, you support the father. And in so doing, you support the mother because they should be on the same set of values and principles in raising these children.
Sure. That doesn't mean text me through his phone.
Are you not listening?
Yes, sir, I am. I didn't want to come out here feeling like it's 2-on-1. But yet it's always like that.
Well, you know what? You can play the victim here, or you can put on your mommy pants and grow up. Because you keep this erratic victim behavior up, and you're going to wind up losing your children. And that needs not to happen. You need to grow up, and you need to deal with these children in a mature fashion. And you have not been forthcoming with me, and I am trying to be as supportive as you as I can be. And you need to hear what I'm telling you. You need to hear what I'm telling you. There is nobody working harder for you right now in this room than me. And you need to hear me because I know what's around the next corner if you don't stop what you're doing and start doing what you need to be doing. We'll be right back. You are using these boys as pawns. You are using their medical circumstance and situation to dramatize your relationship with them. You're using your own medical situation to dramatize your life and your situation. And you can roll your eyes and get sanctimonious all you want, but I'm going to tell you what, if they decide to drag you back to court and they appoint an ad litem for these children, that is somebody that does not work for you, does not work for him, but they investigate this situation, they're going to find out whether there's a Sharon Hodges or whether there's not. They're going to find out whether you had metastasized cancer or whether you didn't. They're going to bring all of that to bear, and the truth is going to come out, and then somebody's going to say, this woman is not stable enough to be in the position that she is in. You don't want that to happen. What you want to happen is to work from this point forward. You don't want a lot of scrutiny right now, so you don't want to go there. What you want to do is work from this point forward. And what you want to do is not prove her wrong. What you want to do is say, let's behave like adults and stop arguing. You don't need to go back to court. You don't want the government in your family. You have no idea what they're going to do. Work this out between you.
He's already filed papers for court.
Work this out between you. You'll be so much happier if you do. Believe me.
That's why we wrote into the show.
So please, I will get you a family counselor that will sit down and work out a co-parenting plan and tell you where the pitfalls are and how to make this work, and they will monitor it with you until you get it right. I will get you that person to do that. Will you participate in that?
Absolutely.
Will you participate in that?
Yes, I will.
Your enthusiasm is underwhelming. That's better.
Okay, so in this episode, we have Marcus and Amber, who are married. Marcus claims that his ex-wife, Carrie, has Munchausen Syndrome, that she's faking multiple illnesses, that she lied about having cancer 3 times, and that she might be doing some weird things with their son's medical situation, with their medications, and that basically she's psychotic and mean and crazy. It appears that he may be correct. Yeah, I'm in shock. At some point in this episode, Dr. Phil really caught her off guard by doing his homework, and it turns out that the nurse at this hospital doesn't exist and all of that, and she probably is lying about having cancer. It also appears that she's dosing her children in the wrong way. She's increasing the dosage of their medication and then giving the meds to the other child, so the wrong child is taking the medication. I mean, if she's doing that sort of thing, I guess that would be Munchausen Syndrome by proxy, which is not okay. It's very dangerous. That has killed children before. I'm very concerned about this, and Dr. Phil said to her, I don't think you're intentionally trying to harm your children. You're doing what you believe is right. I don't know about that. I really don't know about that. It definitely seems like she would do things intentionally to over-dramatize the situation, because apparently she feeds off drama. And the way that she keeps fat shaming Marcus and Amber is wild to me. Like, if they say anything to her that makes sense, if they catch her in any lie, if they call out any behavior, she responds by talking about their weight. She is very emotionally stunted and immature and petty, and she just seems like a very unpleasant, emotionally unbalanced person from my perspective. And yeah, I think she absolutely is a pathological liar, because again, there is no Sharon. But what did you guys think about this episode? What do you think about Carrie? Do you think she's lying about cancer? I do, but if you don't, I'd love to hear why you disagree. Do you think that she is intentionally giving her kids the wrong medication or increasing their dosage, doing things with the medication she shouldn't be doing as a ploy to over dramatize things, maybe to make herself out to be the martyr of the greatest mom on earth? What do you think about Marcus and Amber? You know, Marcus said that earlier on in the kids' lives, he was not a real father. I wonder why. I would have been interested for them to delve deeper into that, to understand, was he just absent or was he present but not a good father? I'm a little confused by that. Maybe he was not in a good mental state or something. I don't know. But now he is married and ready to be a dad. I feel like Carrie maybe should not have custody, but what do you guys think about this? Let me know. Drop it in the comments.